Don't settle for the beans. So often in our life, we settle for less. I'm Tyler Watson, founder of Elite Performance Coaching. Welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I want to teach you a principle that has been around forever, but we still don't fully embrace. And it's the fact that most of us settle for less in our life, less in our relationships, less in our finances, less in our health. And today, stop settling for the beans and embrace what you truly want. One of my favorite stories is about a guy who was on this cruise ship. And he's going through on this cruise, and it's like a several day cruise. Well, we went on a cruise and it was super fun. But there was a guy who was on a cruise and he brought all his stuff because he didn't have a lot of money. Okay, so he had saved up everything. He bought this ticket to get on this cruise, and he just needed to get from the one place to the other. And he was like, I save up all my money, I got everything, and he's going. So he literally like brought all his food because he couldn't pay for anything else. He's like, this is all I have. So he brought a bunch of beans and like cans of foods. And on the cruise, he sees everybody just having a great time. They're eating and having all this just amazing food and going through all the activities. And he walks around and he's, seeing himself and just looking at all the joy, all the amazingness that everyone's experiencing. And during the meals, he goes back to his room, unzips his bag, pulls out his beans and starts eating from it. And, day two, and he sees the view and it's amazing. He feels really great because he got to go on this cruise and he's going from each place to each place, getting to experience it, right? And he's going through just with everybody else. And on the third or fourth day, some of the main cabin people are coming by and they're knocking on the doors and they're like, we're having this final dinner for all the people who are on board. And the guy mentioned, he's like, well, I haven't purchased anything, other than the ticket. And the guy looked at him and he said, well, it's all inclusive. Like everything's free on the ship. And it hit him that this whole time he had this opportunity to eat this amazing buffet, like everything. But he settled for these cans of beans because he didn't feel worthy, good enough, didn't ask, whatever it was. Often in our life, we want something. We desire something more, greater, these experiences. And it could be right there in front of us. In fact, it is there for the taking. But because we're so used to settling, we take out the can of beans and start eating it, while everybody else can enjoy the bounty around us. As you're going through this, someone says that story makes me sad. Yeah, because some of us are settling, right? It's like, oh, that triggers me because I'm settling for the beans. I want to see big X's. No more beans. No more beans. Sorry if you're like a connoisseur of beans. Like, no more settling for the beans. What does that mean? It means do not settle. Don't settle for your past. Do not settle for that which is easy. Don't settle any longer. If you're in a state where you think that you have to be a certain way, remember, don't eat the beans. Don't eat them. They're convenient. They're always there with you. Just don't do it. Choose to open your eyes, open your mind, open your body to a new, abundant experience. I believe every single one of us is on this planet not to settle for beans. And I mean that in the biggest way. I don't think we're put on this planet to settle. I don't think we're put on this planet where we are born into this world to just settle for the least experiences of our life. How many believe that you're here for a purpose and that you're here to create. You're here to make a difference. You're here to receive, you're here to give, and not settle. But because we're so used to it, we settle for the beans. But not anymore. It starts with a decision. We have to decide that we are no longer going to settle for the beans. In your relationships, in your health, and with your finances. With your goals, with 10xing your results, no longer do you have to settle. It's a choice. You can totally choose, and if you're happy with that, great. Be all in, enjoy those beans. Don't feel ashamed of eating the beans. But if you choose not to settle, then don't do it. Commit. Do not give that an option to settle. I want you to write down 3 unquote quote beans, quote unquote beans, that you're settling for right now. Within your life, with what you're working toward, where do you know that you're settling in? I want you to write down and say, so I am consciously choosing to settle for ... fill in the blanks. I am consciously choosing to settle for, and whatever follows is the beans. Now, you might have resistance using that word. I am consciously choosing, which is why I'm going to have you to consciously choose to use it. Okay? Because whatever is actually going on, you can't change it if you don't feel like it's a choice. You can't change that which you don't feel like you have a choice. So to give yourself permission to say, I am consciously choosing. Literally just doing this experience, when I'm coaching people in my mastermind, I actually have them do this. Anytime they're choosing to settle, and anytime I'm having them pinpoint or make a change, I am like, let's say somebody's struggling with some health. Then I say, okay, cool. Let's say you have you eat something and you have an allergic reaction. So let's say you eat a food. Then in the moment of the reaction, you actually frame it this way. I am consciously choosing to break out in hives. I am consciously choosing to bloat. I am consciously choosing to not make a sale. I am consciously choosing to XYZ. I am consciously choosing to be hurt by so-and-so. I am consciously choosing to not feel loved. I'm consciously choosing to feel super guilty. I am consciously choosing to participate in pornography. I am consciously, like whatever the heck it is that they're struggling with. The very first step to get out of it is to feel like it's a conscious choice. The first step to get out of it is to feel like it's a conscious choice.
Was it me? No, it was each and every one of you. So we all chose to do that. No one forced you. No one made you. You chose, which is freaking awesome.